sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to report.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream button. We can't make it any easier for you to listen or to watch the show. If you want to support the show and get me a new tongue, or if you just want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one again and click on the Reaver store. Pick yourself up some t-shirts, coffee mugs, or even a Reaver jersey. How's everybody doing? Today is Monday. It was a long weekend. Nice long weekend. I did nothing political. Did nothing with the show. I actually spent either with my family or playing EverQuest. You know, it was a nice stress reliever. And good morning, Cal. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I spent pretty much the whole weekend just playing EverQuest. Haven't done that in a while. It was fun. It was relaxing. So, we're coming up on the Boston bombing anniversary. And the politicians are still denying the obvious. As the Boston prepares for the 2016 marathon memorials have been organized across the city. 3 years later, however, have the authorities really learned anything from the bombings? Judging by the support for Muslim Brotherhood institution in Massachusetts offered by politicians, law enforcement, and journalists, it would seem not. 3 years ago, Sarnax lay wounded, hiding from city police in the city of Watertown, a leafy suburb of Boston. On April 15th, him and his brother had bombed the Boston Marathon, murdering 3 and injuring hundreds. Over the next few days, Sarnax would kill MIT police officer, take a hostage, wound police officers in a firefight, and run over his brother. By April 19th, the injured Sarnax awaited an inevitable capture, bleeding in a Watertown backyard as law enforcement closed in. The Sarnax scribbled text on the wall of the boat where he hid. For a terrorist who had just murdered in the name of Allah, some might expect his parting message to be some Quran verse, but the writing on the wall of the Watertown boat mostly comprised quotes from Islamic political texts written by the Islamist luminaries of the 20th century. From the Muslim Brotherhood. I always screw that up. I'll be like talking to my dad. I'll be like, the Muslim Brotherhood. Can't believe it's already been 3 years. Also, and what did we do? Nothing. We sat back after we just got our ass kicked. We sat back and did nothing. We did zero. This administration is, well, the little kid that's got the everlasting wedgie. Either he's too afraid to protect this country, or he is in bed with the Muslims. I mean, I'm not going to go into a tangent. He's a Muslim, this and that. But I'm sorry, he has done so little to the extremist Muslims, the jihadist Muslims. He's done so little to them. And it just... And then they wonder why all these rumors and so forth are out and about. The man is not doing anything to quiet these rumors by sitting back and doing nothing. He literally sits back and does nothing. And I don't understand it. What did we do after the Boston bombing? And we captured one of the brothers. The other one's dead. Put him in jail. And we sit back. And our government's afraid to say the words extremists, jihadists, Muslims. And it's... I mean, the Sarnec's justifications for his killings came from the writings of the Islamist movement, who today control American Islam. Islamic groups who have, on the last few decades, found favor with Americans' politics and media elite. Radical mosques, such as the Islamic Society of Boston, remains a magnet for politicians, city officials, and journalists who want to express their love of American Muslims. Most recently, Boston Police Commander William Evans spoke at the mosque, declaring, "We are all Muslims. Deep down, we all yearn for peace." The police... I'm not a Muslim. Does that mean I hate all Muslims? No. But I am not a Muslim, just as I'm not Jewish. And it's really sickening watching our officials grovel and beg at the feet of the people who are trying to kill us. And this mosque was founded by a prominent Al-Qaeda operative. Its trustees have included the Hitler-supporting spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. And just in October, the mosque hosted an event with two preachers who advocate that the Muslim men can acquire sex slaves and should be allowed to beat their wives. And this is where our Boston police commissioner goes and gives speeches that says we're all Muslims deep down. forget who I was talking. Oh, the gentleman that's at the local fish store. Whenever I have an issue with one of my tanks, I run there and talk to him. We got in a conversation, and he can't understand, and I can't understand how our officials just they grovel for acceptance from the people that are trying to kill us. It's, and again, I'm not labeling all Muslims as this. I understand that. Just as, with Germany, my brother-in-law went there, and he said every time they would see an American, their heads would bow down because they were embarrassed with what had transpired over the years. With World War II, they were embarrassed. Well, they shouldn't be. They had no part of it. And any Muslim that does not have a part in this extremist movement shouldn't be embarrassed. Keep your heads up. I would support and protect somebody of that nature. So don't take this, because I hate when the left does that. Just because you're talking about it, you're trying to label all. No, I'm not. I've made that quite abundantly clear in prior shows. I do not support the ideology that all of them are evil. I also understand that it's maybe 10% of them. Well, there was 10% that started out as Nazis too. That 10% can grow. It's and I can understand where the left comes from sometimes with that, because there's many on the right that have pasted and labeled all Muslims, all, as this evil. Well, Christianity has done things over time too that not ashamed, but it did some horrible things over the years. But we Christians learned where the Muslim religion, has not, and continues to have that sect that is just pure evil. But we got to stop as a country kissing the ass of all the Muslims, because that's what we're basically doing. We have the Muslim Brotherhood literally in the White House. They sit on these boards with the president to make decisions on the countries. They've been put in power in multiple positions. Now, up until Obama, Muslim Brotherhood was enemy of the state, which is a kill on sight order. They are labeled a terrorist organization. In the United States, they have been, and other countries, but yet they now sit at the table at the head of the United States. And people applaud that. And I can't understand, because you have some Democrats that I really don't think a lot of these politicians have a brain, or at least they're just so trained to parrot stuff that they don't even think about what they're saying. And they're pushing for a lot of this Muslim stuff in the United States. And I have heard politicians, Democrat politicians, supporting Sharia law in the United States. How can they do that when they have kids of their own? Their wives could be put at danger. Their daughters could be put at danger. And I just, I don't get it. I don't get how you could be for such disgusting ideology. I don't understand how an American can sit there and say that he wants that part of our culture. We have, for all intents and purposes, have been trying to stamp out all of this throughout our history. And yes, that makes us the world police. Yes, I need to shave my head. I haven't shaved it in a couple of days. I have no problem that we've been in that role as the leader. I have no problem with that. I think with what has been expected, the one thing I hate about this whole Iraq and Afghanistan, everybody was for it. Everybody was pushing us. When we went in and did it, those same countries that were supporting us and pushing us that we need to do this, we need to clean up those areas. Oh, wait a minute. It's not exactly popular. There's a small group that don't like it. Oh, the United States is so bad. They shouldn't have done it. Yada, yada, yada. For a long time, they pushed us to do stuff. And then when we do it, they get upset. And now we're being told that the world hates us about it, but Obama is making everything better. I've never heard of the many people that are now hate this country. He tries to kiss ass with the countries that want to kill us and piss on the countries that are friends with us. And the ideology that if we just give some love, the Sarnik brothers will never come about. They had the American dream handed to them. They had it handed to them. We, as a country, were paying for their living. And they turn around and blow up Americans. I just do not understand how you back that type of ideology from a person. And that ISB mosque, the Islamic Society of Boston, teaches the very text that Sarnek scribbled across the Watertown boat. These teachings are of a Muslim Brotherhood educational program. The ideology link could not be even clearer. The Sarnik brother left written confirmation, blood and ink that explains his actions. Authorities, however, refuse to consider what terrorists themselves proclaim, because to accept that Islamic ideology leads to Islamic violence, which be to acknowledge that the self-proclaimed guardians of American Islam pose a serious threat to the security of the United States. It would be to acknowledge that America has fundamentally misunderstood Islam itself. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back. breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean. Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, bro. Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com. Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Hey, just the soundboard doesn't sound right today. Just, I don't know. Just does not sound right. So I don't know. I don't understand this ignore it and it'll go away attitude. The only thing that will do is hurt innocent civilians. time and time again. I mean, it's that attitude has never worked. It's as if they want the destruction of the basic ideology of the country. I don't understand why someone would want to go down that path. The authorities have a they refuse to consider what a terrorist themselves proclaim. We have these terrorists proclaiming what they are, screaming from a rooftop what they are, and our authorities go, no. That's not what they are. They don't understand what they are. They're just looking for jobs. They're just they just need some love. It mind-boggling stupidity. And rather than tackle radical Islamists, the law enforcement and politicians instead attend peaceful rallies, interfaith dialogue dinner, and other feel-good events with the Islamists themselves, who are adept at expressing peace and love by day and inciting hatred against Jews in the West at night. And out of all of them, the law enforcement, these police chiefs and so forth, that actually, they're politicians anymore. And it is an ideology that is the destruction of this country. This hippie bullshit, tree hugging, all we need is love crap. No, in that way, they're getting the ideology from sort of stuff like that of Beatles, of all we need is love, but they couldn't get four guys to get along. If four men cannot get along in a band doing stuff that they love, how the hell do you expect the world to get along when we have different ideology and you have groups like this is extremist Islamists that only see one answer, and that is to kill all those that oppose their ideology. And that includes killing other Muslims that don't agree with their interpretation of the Quran. In 2015, U.S. Attorney Ortiz further illustrated this government's delusion when, astonishingly, she said of the Boston bombing, there was nothing about this crime that was Islam associated. Now, the writings that he left, the Islamic quotes he left, screamed that there was nothing Islamist about this. This is a sickness, and it's going to make the matters worse. And the ones that pay the price are not these idiots, not these politicians, not these government workers. It is civilians that pay the price when Islam comes knocking at the door. It is the citizens that ultimately pay the price. When pressed on Sarnak's Islamic invocation, Ortiz went so far as to define herself what makes a real Muslim, starting that the Sarnak ideology was a skewed view of the religion of Islam. That is not what Islam is all about. Well, I don't know what the end game of these people ideology are, or if they don't even think that far. But I'm getting tired, and I know I'm harping on it, but I'm getting tired of politicians making these idiotic decisions in this love and hugs will prevail ideology. And the only ones that pay the price are us citizens. Because, again, the politicians are surrounded by armed guards while they leave us citizens to fend for ourselves. Government officials and Islamists currently share something in common. They both believe they have the better right to define true Islam than ordinary Muslims themselves. So 3 years since the Boston bombing, Massachusetts officials have not just failed to understand the threat, they refuse to accept that ideology plays any part at all. The refusal to acknowledge the ideology underpinning is really found elsewhere. Can you imagine a government official responding to neo-Nazi violence by attending a brunch with the KKK? That is the perfect analogy right there. If we had a mass violence going on committed by neo-Nazis and the same Democrats went to a KKK brunch and said, you don't understand their ideology, people would be flipping the fuck out. But they think it's okay for them to go to an Islamist brunch. And it's not just, okay, it's not that they went to a mosque. It's the fact that they went to one that is a known extremist mosque. They're the ones teaching the ideology that is talking about killing anybody that does not believe. Where does this leave the ordinary Americans concerned for their safety of their families? Where does this leave voiceless, genuine, moderate Muslims whom authorities ignore while kowtowing to Islamist group like the ISB? By ignoring it, you are making it stronger. By ignoring it, you are helping the problem. You're making it worse. And until we can finally look at it head on, then maybe then we will find a way to start fighting this truly. Such is the strength of the Islam is peace mantra, that for politicians and law enforcement, the radicalization process is not hard to understand, but it does seem difficult to accept. Unless law enforcement and government starts to examine and counteract the ideology Islamist network that has imposed its rule over much of American Islam, there will only be more bombings, more shootings, more stabbings. And we got to stop being afraid to point the finger at the problem when these incidents happen. I'm getting tired of, well, we can't label this a terrorist activity. It's a lone wolf act, not associated. And how many times have they said that in America, in the United States, and only to have to retract their goddamn statements to point out that, yes, it was at a later time. This ideology that this progressive liberalism is bringing us is only bringing death and destruction. And as long as that helps in their ultimate goal, they will continue to ignore it. They will continue to come up with these idiotic ideas of love and peace and hugs. And I still can't get over Justin Trudeau and his letter writing campaign he wants to start. That is by far the stupidest moronic idea anybody has ever come up with to battle Islam. Extremists. It really saddens me when I hear stupidity of that magnitude and he's running a country. And I have understood it. We have it here in America, and it's when it comes to elections, it's no different than elections in the firehouses and EMS. And what it comes down to is not who's best for the job, but who's the most popular. Who can kiss ass the most? That's how these elections go on. It's not who is best for the job. Every now and then you have an election and that prevails. But I've seen too many times where it's who buys the most beer. And that's what I'm seeing. It is who can offer the most. Who can tell? Right now, it seems to be who offers the most free crap. Even though even the left is starting to go, yeah, this shit's getting out of hand. Yeah, the taxes are going to go up, skyrocket. We got to stop electing these idiots. I do not like war, but I also understand that sometimes the only way to peace is through war. I understand that, and it's what is going on now by us ignoring and wishing and praying it goes away. It's not. It is not going to go away. And our politicians pointing the finger at each other, all you're doing is helping them. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plain Pundit Radio. We'll be right back. breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and hyphensdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business? You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com. Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Millman. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host. There it is. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream button. You can't get any easier than this. It's so easy, even a liberal can do it. If you want to support the show, if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one. Click on the Reaver store. Pick up a t-shirt. and many other items to choose from as I keep on adding. So, just to touch on it a little bit, I can't remember. I don't think I have anything really major on it, but tomorrow is New York's primary election day, and Trump's holding a pretty big lead on the polls. And some new polls have come out where he's pushing ahead in New York, California, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. It's just a bunch of these states he is pushing the lead. And then nationally he hasn't went ahead majorly, but Ted Cruz has dropped back significantly. It seems that Ted Cruz has lost his luster a little bit with certain people. And I'm not going to say he's done and out of it. Listen, I know polls. I know the people. It's a roller coaster ride when it comes to this stuff. But after New York, if Trump gets that over 50% and 50% in each county, he's looking at a sweep of 95 points. And I believe that knocks Cruz officially out from making the 1237. And I wonder, after all his rhetoric about, Rubio needs to drop out and Kasich needs to drop out and this one needs to drop out. They can't get to those numbers. It's impossible for them to get to those numbers. They need to drop out. Will he drop out if he is mathematically eliminated? I mean, he won't, and I know he won't. I'm not calling for him to drop out, but his rhetoric says that he should. I know he won't. And one other thing that I want to bring up. So late last night, I was laying in bed doing some reading. And one of the things I keep hearing from people is, well, Ted Cruz has argued out of the Congress the most in front of the Supreme Court. So he should be our president because he's argued in front of the Supreme Court 9 times. Yeah, so out of that 9, he won 2, lost 4, and 3 other ones, excuse me, my math was off in my head. The 3 others, they listed as a draw because basically what it was is it was recommended to Ted Cruz that he take it back down to a lower court. Basically, they said, you're going to lose this. Take it back down to lower court. And when it was taken down to the lower court, he lost those 3. So he technically did not get a ruling on the Supreme Court, but they did tell him to drop it back down, and he's lost those 3. Out of that 9, he only won 2. And that makes him qualified because he lost a shit ton of court arguments in front of the Supreme Court. They never tell that part, and they always link in about his gun rights, his Second Amendment. He was part of the Heller versus D.C. No, they make it seem like he actually was in front of the Supreme Court arguing for Heller D.C. He was arguing with him, and he was giving his best. He wrote a paper for the state of Texas that was signed by other states that said they agreed with the lawsuit and they agreed with the backing of the Second Amendment. That's what Ted Cruz did. He wrote a paper. Listen, that does not make him qualified or unqualified. He did his job. This Supreme Court that I always hear, he lost. He won 2 friggin' cases out of 9. Then why don't we go a couple? Because I know there's one attorney who's argued like 85 times in front of the Supreme Court. Why aren't you going for him to be the next president? I forget his name, and I do apologize for that. But this one, he has the record for argued the most in front of the Supreme Court. So why aren't you trying to get him to run? This appearance of the man, Ted Cruz, has a lot of smoke and mirrors. A lot of smoke and mirrors. He's not who he seems to be. And people are starting to pick it up. People are starting to understand this man is not anti-establishment. Everything he did in the Senate was choreographed. And this argument that's going on, it just, I have somebody I call a friend, but after some comments this weekend, I'm not exactly happy with them. Fine, you want to believe that Michelle Fields, even though she has a history of false accusation, the prosecutor decided not to prosecute, drop the charges, because number one, she lied about touching Trump. She was asked if she did. The video shows she did, and she said no. At that point, the manager had a right to step and protect. He had the right. She caused the issue to happen herself. There was no bruises when it happened. Those bruises showed up later, if you want to call them bruises. She has a history of this, and this person is still going on that it's Trump's fault. The campaign manager's a thug. He needs to be arrested and charged. And going on because she says she's going to sue him, and she's going to sue him. Even though what she's suing him for isn't exactly for the incident that happened. She says she's going to sue him for slander. And in the United States, anybody can sue anybody. But when I brought up the fact that, that the manager had a legal right to step in, the response was from, supposed to be a friend of mine, did you get that from Trump Bar? So I'm getting insulted that I don't know how to back my facts up. And that really pissed me off when that was said to me. Because where I got my information from was listening to the interview of, or I should say the press release and press conference from the prosecutor. That's who I heard this from. And this person still is on the roll that she is the victim. She is innocent. She has done no wrong. She is not lying. This is a woman that accused New York PD of assault. She has accused, I believe it was Alan West, of sexual assault. And she has other incidents of claiming assault. And everyone has come up false. She said she got grabbed and yanked so hard that she almost fell down. She just barely caught herself. And when you watch the video, she barely got pulled. And the other part, the prosecutor says, when you're in that type of job and in that type of environment, you give up expectations of not being touched. She saw dollar signs and she still sees dollar signs. And she's got a book coming out. So this is perfect opportunity for her to cause an incident. She is against Trump. And now she's trying to slander the prosecutor, saying that he or she has ties to Trump, when it was said from the beginning that this prosecutor has direct ties to Hillary Clinton. So that would be a perfect time for them to push the issue and charge to help Hillary. But the case was so weak. I mean, they went so far as, if we can get an apology, will you drop everything? That's how bad it was, and that's how bad the evidence was. She lied to the police. She didn't think there was going to be all these video angles and she can get away with it. And the people still to watch that video and say he was guilty and he's a thug and he's this and he's that. That is just your blindness towards Trump. The man is not guilty of assault. The man is not guilty of battery. She has lied to police. And to insult me was just, that just pissed me the hell off. Sorry on that little tangent. That, like I said, that just pissed me off when the other one, we were in another show and I was told, because we were arguing back and forth between Trump and Cruz, that he will never shut up and he'll keep saying what needs to be said. And he was repeating himself very often that night. Just as the other night, I repeated myself and I got something, I'm cluttering up his timeline with repeating myself. And he doesn't want that. So he's allowed to repeat himself and scream what he wants when it's his version. But when anybody else does it, he doesn't want that. And he's going to complain about it. That was not. I lost a lot of respect and a lot of trust with this person. Especially, I find, still doesn't want to believe, and you want to go on. But to attack my integrity on where I get my information and whether I back it up or not. Yeah. Not happy with that. But we will see tomorrow how it goes in New York. People are not dumb. People in the Northeast are not going to put up with. All right, they don't. The Northeast corridor does not like Texas, but there is a little bit of I want to say, Texas is always bowing their chest up and how great and how big everything's bigger in Texas. And I think the two states or two areas do not click that good. Not saying they hate each other, but with Ted Cruz making his comments and then going into New York and trying to blame anybody and everybody else, which that is one of my issues I have with this candidate. He does not take responsibility for anything. And that's what he's doing with the New York values comment. He would not take ownership of it. He's trying to blame it. He blame it on Trump. It was Trump who said it first. It wasn't me. It was Trump. Come on. And the polls are showing that. The polls are showing there is a conservative value in New York. When everybody says New York, they automatically think of New York City and how liberal that is. But they don't think about and understand the rest of the state, that it's pretty much conservative. But the largest population is New York City, and they kind of sway which way the state's going to go. So I'm getting tired of this. People sticking up for a comment like that. I saw a New Yorker sticking up for the comment and trying to justify the comment. And I'm from New Jersey, and it offended the shit out of me. Because you're telling me just because we're from a certain area, we do not have conservative values. Just because we're in certain areas, we can't be a part of the election process because we have supposedly different values. That's one of the things that really started swaying me. I was a Trump supporter up until that. And I started, hang on, that kind of pisses me off. And then other incidents started to happen. And that's when I went, I'm cutting ties, I'm walking away. I was a Cruz supporter from, a year or two ago. Hey, I fell for the shit. Oh man, this guy would make a great president. And then once I started seeing stuff, and that New York values ones is one of the first ones. My dad's just sitting there with a smile going, told you something about him. The man is not who he appears to be. He has a lot of smoke and mirrors with that guy. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back after this message. Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com. Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverOfCommonSense.com. Watch you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, trying to make sense out of the senseless. Well, the Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast of the show, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. And if you like the live stream, do not forget to subscribe to the show. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store button, and pick yourself up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. So, sorry about that little, and it's just some of the things that annoy me, and what is going on in the atmosphere is not conducive to it's not conducive of a good country. Our party is falling apart. You know, I don't want to play the sky is falling, but there's been so much infighting. Can we really reconcile after once the general starts? Can we reconcile? And I'll admit, it's not looking good. And even if Trump gets the nomination, there is going to be both sides are going to be unhappy, no matter who the nomination is. And if it's someone other than Trump or Cruz, you're going to have a large portion of the base pissed off. But there's been an awakening that's happened with the American people. American people that had been quiet and didn't really get involved in the past because they just followed along with what the RNC told us. They accepted that they know what they're doing, so we'll follow along. Well, it's put this country in perils. And a lot of people are tired of it and standing up and speaking out. And literally, they're being told to shut up and sit down by the RNC. Pubis, whatever the hell. He is actually told I forget the exact wording, but it's like, sit down and shut up if you don't like what's going on. This is not smart. You're pissing off the base. And it's not looking good altogether. It really isn't. And with what's going on with the Democrats, if the Republicans, the establishment can get their heads out of their ass and they stop this crap and they actually thought about what's best for the country, they would have control of this country like never before. You got California, who's raised their minimum wage to $15, and it ends an apparel industrial revival. The first accomplishment of California's pioneering $15 in minimum wage law is killing the revival of American clothing industry. American Apparel, which provides 10% of all apparel manufacturing jobs in Los Angeles, has terminated 500 employees in the last 2 weeks. Chief Executive Paula Schneider also told the Los Angeles Times that manufacturing of more complicated pieces, such as jeans, could soon be outsourced to a third-party company. The company did not tie the announcement directly to California's Governor Jerry Brown signing the nation's first statewide $15 an hour wage on April 4th, which he said would be a bad thing. He admits it's going to kill jobs, but yet he still signs the bill. But the layoffs started shortly, almost immediately after Brown's action, and were announced on April 14th as labor organizers filled Los Angeles streets with fast food workers set to strike, supported by unionized home health care and child care workers. Chief executive of the Los Angeles investment banking firm, Griff and Company, told LA Times they're headed out of Dodge. They are going to outsource all garments. It's only a matter of time. At the turn of the 21st century, Los Angeles County was the rag trade capital of America, with 4,000 active apparel making sites employing almost 90,000 workers. The Los Angeles area was over twice the size of the rag trade in the New York region. Apparel making got cut in half over the next decade as Chinese and Asian imports coming from Los Angeles ports skyrocketed to $46 billion. The number of local apparel making sites fell to 2,200, and local industry jobs shriveled to 46,000. But according to the California Fashion Association, Los Angeles apparel making was back to growth by the 2013 as a steady inflation rate in China, driven by higher labor costs, increasingly pushed apparel manufacturers and textiles contractors to move to lower wage countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Bangladesh. Coupled with high seas, land, and air shipping costs, the advantage in outsourcing apparel making versus U.S. manufacturing became less attractive. Last year in Los Angeles County, there were 62,774 workers in apparel making and 10,887 workers in textile manufacturing. Although imports were still substantial, local companies booked revenues of over $18 billion and paid workers $6.4 billion. Average rate of pay for fashion designers was $35 per hour, and the average pay for apparel and textile workers hit $15 an hour. By capturing 36% of all U.S. apparel manufacturing, the Los Angeles County fashion I'm just, because what's going to happen is, yes, I know, yeah, but we only changed the minimum wage to $15 and they're already paying that. That shouldn't touch their business. Yes, it is. It really is like a trickle up effect. Because now those people that were making $15 an hour, that are making almost double the minimum wage, are going to want to increase, and they deserve it because they weren't making minimum wage before. They shouldn't now. But those that are making $35 per hour are going to want to raise because they don't want to be making as much as the apparel and textile workers. Now, a lot of the companies that are delivering stuff to them, the supplies that they need, their people are going to have to get raised in wages, which means the cost is going to increase for those items and services, which it then costs the textile and manufacturing companies. They're going to have to raise their prices because everything has increased. So guess what? We're right back to where nobody can afford minimum wage. And the ones that are really going to get hurt with all this bullshit, those on Social Security, on a fixed income, that the government keeps saying we can't give you a raise in your Social Security. We're broke. Bunch of bullshit answers. The cost of living has skyrocketed, and what they give like a 1.3, 1.5% increase recently to Social Security. Those are the ones that are going to get hurt the worst because they were already struggling to survive. And now when you start raising these costs and raising the minimum wage, it's going to hurt them because they're not going to be able to afford to live. Nobody thinks about that trickle effect. I know the Democrats say it's not going to happen. We've seen it happen multiple times already. I am not against unions. They have their place. They have their place. Do I think most of the unions are out of control and they don't care about the workers? They care about how much money they can make for free by taking money off of the backs of working labor force. They love seeing this because they get to raise their union cost, how much they're going to charge to be part of the union. So that increases. When once all the cloud is said and done, these people that are making minimum wage before and they got bumped up to $15 an hour, they're going to be still in the same boat they are in because everything's going to increase. Union dues are going to increase. And they're still going to be in the exact same boat where they can't afford anything. Because the liberals say, oh, it has no effect on what it's going to do. Fine, bump it up to $1,000 an hour. If it's not going to affect, raising the minimum wage is not going to affect any economics in the United States, go ahead and raise it up to $1,000 an hour. Make it 100. No, because raising it does affect businesses. We have seen it in several areas that raised up to $15 an hour where there has been job loss. Companies have folded. And the effects, the domino effects has gone down the road. And yet the left keeps saying it's not hurting anybody. Well, during the signing, there was a lot of cheering by the union workers, some chanting in Spanish at Brown's Los Angeles signing ceremony for the bill lifting the state's minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2022. The governor all but admitted he was terminating the competitiveness of Los Angeles rag trade and tanking the growing workforce with the comment, economically, minimum wage may not make sense. So he understands it's a bad thing, and he still signs it. I don't understand that. You know it's a bad thing, but yet you still sign it. Brown rationalizes his actions' brutal consequences by stating, but morally and socially and politically, they make every sense because it binds the community together and makes sure that parents can take care of their kids in a much more satisfactory way. He did say one thing perfect in there, in a political way. That's what it's about, buying votes. In no uncertain terms, that's what it is over. He was buying votes. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on shrmedia.com and High Plain Pundit Radio. We'll be right back. Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store does both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighlandsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business? You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean. Dude, I'm not saying Catholics, dude. Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk. I'm a little bit drunk because I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com. Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Chris, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighlandsDailyNews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. A unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. And if you like that live stream, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you want to support the show, or if you just want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one. Click on the Reaver store. Pick yourself up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. Now, I was looking at it. for those watching the live stream, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It didn't seem like any of my commercials were broadcasting over that, so I do apologize if that. I'm gonna have to listen to everything after the show gets done. And it's annoying, this setup. Sometimes I'm having intermittent issues. Sometimes it's working. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you feel like it not. Sometimes you don't. So it's been revealed that the Colorado lawmakers who voted to scrap elections are the same Ted Cruz delegates. Listen, I have no issue with him. Well, I do have issues, but it's something that won't be settled now. It'll have to be settled for next election. I don't agree that you should be picking out your own nominee. That these politicians should be. I don't think they should be picking him out. That is contrary to the ideology of what this country is based on. But that is, we can't change it now, and I'm not going to cry over spilled milk, but I think it's something that needs to be changed. But what I don't like is that it was changed just in February, and the same people who support Cruz are the ones that voted to do away with the election. That I find a little hinky. Can't do nothing now, as I said. But for Cruz to run around, hopping up and down, look at that, I got a win, I got another win, you really want to, he's praising his ability to win when there is no election. I don't understand jumping up and down, hooting and hollering he won when there was no elections. It's a hollow victory, and I don't understand why he would be even making it a bigger story than it already is. He should have, I would have kept my mouth a little bit quieter, not been pushing that I won so much, because it's a hollow victory. There was no vote. Colorado was basically handed to Cruz. I'm not complaining about the win. I'm laughing and saying maybe it's not smart for him to be so egotistical and, oh, I won. No, you didn't. You had it handed to you. You celebrate failures so many times. It's scary. That scares me, that you're running for president and you celebrate failures. You celebrate empty wins, if you want to call them a win. You've lost several states, but you go out there because you won a couple of delegates. You act like you just won the lottery. And that worries me as a candidate. That makes me wonder his true intentions. He's not out for the betterment. He's not someone's ideology that I would want leading us when he celebrates failure like he does. But it has been revealed that Senator Ted Cruz supporters in the Colorado Republican Party were responsible for crushing an effort to give Colorado the ability to vote in a state's primary. In May of 2015, 4 Colorado Senate Republicans killed an initiative to create a presidential primary in 2016, as reported by the Denver Post. Under the bill, Colorado would have held a presidential primary in March that ran parallel with the state's complicated caucus system. When it came before the Senate Appropriation Committee, 4 Republicans voted to kill the bill, with 3 Democrats supporting it. The 4 Republicans who voted against the initiative were Senator Granholm, Senator Lambert, Senator Woods, and Senator Sonnenberg. On Cruz's campaign website, they are all listed as Cruz supporter and as declared members of Cruz's Colorado leadership team. I am honored to have the support of so many courageous conservatives in Colorado, Cruz said about his so-called leadership team in early April. With our incredible team, we are in a very strong position for this weekend's assembly in Colorado. Senator Granholm and Senator Senator Graham is an official Cruz delegate, and Senator Lambert is an alternate Cruz delegate. At the time, the editors of Denver Post seemed perplexed by Granholm's decision not to support the primary election initiative. In a May 2015 editorial titled Colorado GOP Flubs Chance for 2016 Presidential Primary, the editor wrote, "What? Graham was a sponsor of the bill? If he thought the bill made enough sense to put his name on it, why wouldn't he think it should be passed out of committee?" The editors go on to suggest that party leaders may have had other agendas that remained undisclosed for rejecting a primary election of the people. The editors write, an opportunity to move Colorado out of its anticipated presidential caucus has been lost through miscommunication, perhaps because of other agendas that remain unclosed. The caucus's guaranteed lackluster voter participation and a disproportionate influence of activists on both ends of the political spectrums who are not representative of the party's mainstream. Some romanticize the caucus system as the purest form of grassroots democracy, but that's only accurate if your idea of democracy involves excruciating low turnout by design. By Cruz's voterless victory, the state senator who had killed the primary initiative seems effective. Again, these are the rules. I don't like the way that's set up. I don't live in that state. But to be championing a voterless victory, it doesn't make him look that good. Really doesn't. And I would not be out there, me personally. I would not be jumping in, hooting and hollering if that was mine. I'd be a little bit more, say, quiet about it. I would not. Maybe it's just me, but I would not be all loud and proud. Because even if he gets the nomination, there's going to be a lot of asterisks in front of his name. There's going to be a lot of questions. There's now also some questions about the voting of delegates and all that. There's true or not, it is giving a black eye to the Republican Party. And I don't understand how the RNC can back Priebus, Pubis, Pubic Head, whatever the damn asshole's name is. He has not won any major elections as the head of the RNC. We have seen a major split in the RNC under his command. We have seen him make comments that do not go along with the ideology of America. But they still back him. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know why. They keep holding this guy up on a pedestal thinking he's going to do something when he hasn't done nothing. And then I wouldn't trust this guy to run the campaign of a high school committee. For the president of high school, I would not let him run the campaign because I don't think he could do it. He has done more damage to the party. More damage than good. I don't understand. I really don't. How can you not see the writing on the wall? Seriously. How can you not see everything that's going on in the party? Can you not? Damn it. Can you not see the damage you are doing? Just the board's not sounding right. This is driving me up a wall. I can't. I don't understand how you can back someone so blindly like that. And that's what the party's done. The party, I don't know what their end game is, but it doesn't seem like it's for freedom. It doesn't seem like it's for the betterment of the United States. They seem to be turning into the Democrat Party, and they're only after what's better for them. They're willing to stand up and hold hands with the Democrats. They're willing to give this election to Hillary, and they don't give a shit if it just stops Trump. Why do you want to stop Trump? Because they will lose their millions of dollars in lobbyist money. Don't tell me it doesn't go on, because just on the TPP vote, or TPA, whichever one, Biner got $3 million to vote yes. Paul Ryan got over $1 million to vote yes. And then they want us to continue to vote for these people? I don't think so. I am tired of that. And no, Ted Cruz is just it's gonna keep going on underneath his watch. It is not going to change underneath his watch. I don't know if it's going to change underneath Trump's watch either. I mean, we can try. We've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So why not try something different, something new? Everybody wants to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. I believe it was Einstein. That was his definition to insanity. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back. Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplansdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business? You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean. Dude, I'm not saying Catholics. Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com. Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplansdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milton. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, by Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant. If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the link on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch the live stream, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. And if you like that live stream, of course, the Reaver of Common Sense show, subscribe to it. Just hit the little subscribe button. Keep up to date. If you want to support the show, if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and click on, you guessed it, the Reaver store.
Pick yourself a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. So, I love how they put this. North African migrants turning Berlin notorious Coty area into no-go zone. In other words, Muslims are turning Berlin's notorious Coty area into a no-go zone, according to a veteran drug dealer. One of the most notorious areas in all of Berlin for drug dealing and petty theft is the area outside of Cottbusser. Holy shit. Nicknamed the Coty. Gangs of criminals have long used the area, which is close to various nightclubs, to peddle drugs to partygoers and steal the possession of those too drunk to fight back. It has been reported on the Coties back in February and told how it had become a center for migrant gangs. The criminal statistics in the area leapt from 336 cases in 2014 to 775 in 2015, and many expect 2016 to increase even further. This is becoming a regular topic. In whatever country that they show up in, these Muslims create no-go zones. This is an exact example. This may be not the best example, but it's the example of the failure to recognize what's going on. They do not want to assimilate these groups. They want to assimilate the country, the host country, into their country. And my response is, every time I hear that, if your country was so great, why aren't you still there? If it is so great, why did you feel the need that you had to run away from your country? So maybe, and then they cry that they're not accepted. Maybe try assimilating into the culture where you live. Doesn't mean you have to end your culture, but it's not their responsibility for you to integrate into their culture. So, it's pretty much out. Megyn Kelly had a secret meeting. The Star anchor kept Trump's meeting from Fox's boss Ailes. It is now being reported. And it was written that Megyn Kelly may have gone rogue by meeting privately with Donald Trump without Roger Ailes' blessings. On the morning of April 13th, Megyn Kelly slipped into Trump Tower for a meeting with Donald Trump. The Fox News star was there to make peace and a pitch. She wanted Trump to end his personal attacks on her and agreed to appear on a Barbara Walters-style special that Kelly is hosting next month. She arranged a private sit-down herself. She told Trump that not even her boss, Roger Ailes, knew she was there, according to a source familiar with the meeting. After a reporter spotted her entering the building, news of a possible Trump war boomerang it got around the internet, and both CNN and MSNBC devoted breathless segments to the story. No matter what side you're on, you got to realize that this spat is hurting her career, but it can also help her career. But right now, her numbers are down. She's gotten a lot of notoriety from it, but her numbers have dropped down a little bit. And I think that's why she had the meeting. It was a good idea. That seems they have buried the hatchet and both are acting appropriately. It's not a bad thing all the way around. For executives caught off guard by Kelly's clandestine outreach, released a statement suggesting this was all according to plans. Of course they're going to say that. Oh, we knew what was going on. This was all according to our plan. And they didn't know jack shit. But they don't want to look like idiots because they didn't know what somebody in their company was doing. Ailes had spoken to Trump a few times over the past 3 months, it's noted, implying that he had helped her get the meeting. Later that night, Kelly confirmed on her show that she and Trump discussed the possibility of an interview. She made no mentions of Ailes. The meeting was at my request, Kelly said. If Kelly did indeed go rogue on the Trump meeting, it says a lot about her relationship with her employer and about her employer's relationship with the GOP frontrunner. Ever since she tangled with Trump in front of 24 million viewers out watching the debate last summer, a performance that transformed her in the eyes of many into a fearless interviewer and feminist symbol. Yeah. And it also turned a lot of people off to her, that she was a big sellout. Kelly has become Ailes' biggest star and biggest management headache. Meanwhile, Trump's attacks on Fox have badly damaged its credibility with its core right-wing audience. A February poll reported that Fox's standing with Republicans had plummeted by 50% since the beginning of the year. Trump hasn't engaged in an on-again, off-again feud with the network since September, refusing to appear one-on-one with Kelly for 8 months, so a Kelly-Trump interview would undoubtedly draw big ratings. Presumably, Kelly went off on her own because she wants to claim credit for the booking. She did it to prove she doesn't need Ailes to make things happen for her. A high-level source said, or perhaps she is taking a page from Trump himself and operating as if her own brand was bigger than Fox. Now that has caused tensions at Fox, which were already high, and it's just getting worse. Two sources have said that a senior Fox executive instructed on-air talents not to defend Kelly against Trump's attack. Right now, Fox is in a tailspin. And they don't know what to do. They're pissed. They've been pissed. Don't get it wrong. They're pissed because they thought between them and the RNC, the GOP, you down with me, they all thought that they had full control of the people. They thought they had control of you. They thought they had control of me. They thought they could tell you who to vote for, what to think, and so forth and so on. But what they found out is there's a large populace out there that said, hold the phone. No, we've agreed with you because your points have agreed with our ideology. You're going way at a base for what we want. And now it's coming back to haunt them. It's hurting them. And they were throwing a hissy fit because they were upset because they thought they could control us, just as the RNC thought they could control us and tell us who to vote for. They thought Jeb Bush was a lock. Then they said, okay, probably people are just tired of the Bush. And they pushed Rubio. And we saw how that went. People are getting tired of the status quo. I'm tired of it. And I'm pretty sure if you're listening, you're tired of it. I've never said, and I never will, vote Trump. I will say this. Whoever your candidate is, and I know I rag on Cruz. I don't agree with Cruz. I don't agree with a lot of things about him. But if that is your candidate, please, by all means, stay with him. Back him. Support him. And say, if you're backing Trump, support him. oh, we gotta stop doing it, and this is not the first time I've said it, is stop bashing each other. I don't care who you vote for. That's your right. Try to respect each other, and things could turn out a whole hell of a lot better than what we've seen. But right now, it's not good, people. It is not good. And we need to change that atmosphere. We gotta stop letting these executives and politicians telling us what to think and all that, and take control of what they say and do. But I want to thank everybody for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with my normal slot, as always, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And remember, if you like the live stream, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date. But until tomorrow, have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hbpundit.com and shrmedia.com.